Gabriel Agbonlahor on TalkSport has stated that Tonali has only signed for Spurs because he wants the big bucks at Tottenham. Tonali on Roberto De Zerbi, he's come out and said he is an unbelievable gaffer. Reports in Senegal are stating that Spurs consider Sarr as a valuable player. Now, former Spurs boss Harry Redknapp has come out and said that Spurs will finish in a Champions League place next season. And Spurs Women boss Min-hyeok on the connection with the fans. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going for all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And if you do get 2 spare minutes, please do nominate us and vote for us at the Football Content Awards 2026. All of the details are below. And as usual, all of your support will be really, really appreciated. Thank you. Former Premier League striker Gabriel Agbonlahor, of course, now on TalkSport. He has been talking about Tottenham and the transfer window and Sandro Tonali moving to Tottenham from Newcastle. He has stated that Sandro Tonali is just joining Tottenham for the big bucks. Spurs smashed their transfer record to seal a £100 million deal to sign the Italy midfielder from Newcastle on Monday. Tonali expressed his excitement to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in his first interview as a Spurs player, to which Hof Jeff Sterling said he could have done that as a Newcastle player. Tonali said, "I can't wait to play in this stadium because I played against with AC Milan in the Champions League and Newcastle. I found the atmosphere great. I found every time the stadium full." But former Aston Villa striker Agbonlahor wasn't having any of this. He said, "Atmosphere, do me a favour, don't make me laugh. I went to a game last season, Spurs against Aston Villa, the quietest stadium I've probably ever been to, zero atmosphere." Agbonlahor then went on to say, "Tonali has gone there for the big bucks. You've gone for the money that Newcastle probably wouldn't have given you. To leave Newcastle to go to Spurs is a crazy decision. Let's just call it as it is." Agbonlahor then went on to say, "Senesi, the same. You've gone there on a free transfer for the money. Andy Robertson, you've gone there for the money. And so has Tonali for the money. Do me a favour, the stadium." Disagreeing with Jeff Sterling that Tonali had been swayed by an aggressive, forward-thinking manager in Roberto De Zerbi, Agbonlahor said, "One thing I will say, Italian manager in Roberto De Zerbi, I will give him that. But really, Jeff, he has gone for the big, big bucks. Spurs have got the money to spend, and as a Spurs fan, would I want players coming in just for the money? That seems to be happening." Radu Drăgușin has left Tottenham Hotspur Football Club for Italian side Fiorentina. Now, James Maddison wrote the following on Instagram to Radu. He said, "My brother, adversity brought us so close together. We'll miss you a lot, mate. I will still text you for Sauna Club just in case you get angry. Good luck." Former Tottenham Hotspur boss Harry Redknapp has been talking on Sky Sports all about Spurs and Roberto De Zerbi and the 26-27 campaign. Harry Redknapp said that Spurs will finish in the top 4, top 5, no doubt. Now, reports in Senegal, in particular from WIW Sport, they have stated that Tottenham consider Sarr as a valuable player and are reluctant to part ways with him. Spurs would need a substantial offer to change their stance. Now, in a recent interview, Sandro Tonali has been talking all about Tottenham Hotspur boss Roberto De Zerbi. He said, "Roberto is an unbelievable gaffer. I know him for a long time. He's from Brescia. I played 10 years in Brescia. Sometimes we met in Brescia when we had a day off or 2 days off. We come back both in our city, and I think this was fantastic. I spoke with him for the first time. We spoke like a friend and we spoke like a player and a gaffer already. This chat was close to magic because it was like, okay, now I have to sign for you for sure. Tonali then went on to say we spoke a lot about Tottenham, we spoke a lot about the stadium, about the fans, about the players, about our football. We can't wait for the season to start. Spurs Women boss Min-hyeok has been talking about his first year at the club and the connection with the Spurs fans. He said the supporters have been brilliant from day one. I felt how much they care about this team and about this club, but as the season progressed, you could really feel the connection growing stronger. We saw the numbers grow at home and away games, and it means a lot to us. It shows that people are starting to feel connected to the team, to the players, and to the journey that we are on. That support gives the players energy, and I think the players have worked hard to give that back through their performances, their behaviours, and the way that they want to represent this shirt. For me, connection is not something that you can fake. It comes through actions, through honesty, through commitment, and through a team showing that they understand what it means to play for Tottenham Hotspur. Min-hyeok then went on to say the fans have been a real strength for us and we want to keep building that. We want our supporters to feel proud of the team, feel part of the journey and feel excited about where we are going. Hopefully next season we can keep growing that connection even more and make our home and away support an even bigger part of who we are. On Thursday, it was announced that Tottenham Hotspur winger Min-hyeok has been included in the South Korea squad for the 2026 Asian Games. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode, and let's start by talking about Gabriel Agbonlahor. Now, I'm very lucky and fortunate to be a part of the TalkSport fan network, and I occasionally go on to TalkSport giving my opinion on all things Spurs. And I tell you what, I would absolutely love to go on with Gabriel Agbonlahor. I've spoke to him a couple of times, over the last couple of years, but I'd love to have a chat with him about this situation, about his opinion, because like Ange Postecoglou said recently when he was Spurs manager, Spurs does strange things to people and people say some very strange things about Tottenham, and people have this thing about Spurs, they'll moan when we're not doing something and they'll moan when we are doing something. And, who moans when Arsenal pay top money for players, wages, etc. Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea spent £1 billion a couple of years ago. Spurs are moving in to that elite league, if you like, now, and we are paying top wages, yes, and we are paying top transfer fees now, yes, and Spurs are joining all of the other big clubs, and all of us supporters are really enjoying this transfer window so far because we can see that the football club is changing, and this is exactly what is needed. People like Gabriel Agbonlahor and people, in the media, particularly former players, professionals, etc., they will always say that Tottenham do the same thing in transfer windows, and they've said very similar to what some of us fans, including myself, have said before, criticising the way that the football club have done things. But change is absolutely needed. Will Gabriel Agbonlahor stay at TalkSport if suddenly Sky Sports or another media outlet offered him ridiculous wages or doubled his salary? Absolutely not. He would be off. In 2026, everyone is about the money, whether you like it or not. That is just the way it is. But Tonali does have a very good relationship with Roberto De Zerbi already, and he can't wait to, play under him at Tottenham Hotspur. But I've said many times, the football club need to change the way that they do things, and Spurs need to, move into that elite league by breaking the wage structure and paying top dollar for the calibre of player that we should be seeing in transfer windows at Spurs. It's really interesting because Gabriel Agbonlahor, and I don't want to get too much on his back because it's not just about him. I think a lot of people feel very similar to what he feels as well, which I do find it very, very strange because this is Tottenham, by the way, and not a lot of people think that Tottenham should be challenging with the elite. But I tell you what, with what Roberto De Zerbi and what the board are doing at the moment in this transfer window, Spurs should be there or thereabouts. And it's interesting as well, because on Sky Sports today, Harry Redknapp has come out and said that he thinks that Spurs will be in the top 4 or 5, no doubt, next season in those Champions League spots. In my opinion, I think we need to still do a fair bit of work in the transfer window before I'm talking about Spurs, challenging for Champions League spots. But Gabriel Agbonlahor, he has even had a go about Andy Robertson joining Spurs. He's even had a go about Marcos Senesi joining Spurs on free transfers, stating that they are just chasing the money. It's very strange, really. Gabriel Agbonlahor in particular, I've heard him say two things, quite often. He's always slated Spurs for, one, not being ambitious enough, and two, not winning trophies enough. Now, of course, Spurs won the Europa League last year. Aston Villa won the Europa League this year. Of course, he is a big Aston Villa fan. He doesn't like the fact that Spurs are spending or being able to spend this money, and we still can spend up to another £250 million and not get into any trouble by doing so. On the trophy front, when you look at Gabriel Agbonlahor's record, and he always criticises Tottenham for not winning enough trophies, he actually appeared in 2 cup finals in his career, one in the FA Cup and one in the League Cup, and he actually lost both of them. So when you're talking about trophies, I don't think that Gabriel Agbonlahor can really talk about Tottenham and trophies and criticise the way that he does. And also, Spurs have not broken any rules, and we're not going to be breaking any rules in this transfer window by spending the money that we are. Spurs have always been a very well-run football club financially, and a lot of people don't like that now, and a lot of people don't like the fact that Spurs can generate a lot of income from the stadium, concerts, NFL, etc., etc. And we all thought that this would be a game changer, like we were told in 2019, and now we're in 2026. 7 years later, we are now starting to see this change, and we are now starting to see what money we can spend in transfer windows and really go and be ambitious in this transfer window. But I just find the whole thing very, very strange. I know some people do say things because they want clicks on videos, etc., etc. But there's no way that Andy Robertson is going to Tottenham for the money. Marcos Senesi, etc., etc. It's very exciting for me, this transfer window, and to see people like Gabriel Agbonlahor have a moan and try to have a dig about it. Do you know what? I'm just going to laugh it off, because Spurs are going places, and I think that when people start criticising them and when they start having digs like this, it means that they're worried. They are rattled, and people like Gabriel Agbonlahor are rattled because they've slagged Spurs off for so long, saying that Spurs don't show ambition, Spurs don't do this, Spurs don't do that. They might have to start changing their tune a little bit, because Spurs are on the up. Spurs will be back, and Spurs will be challenging for top honours, and Spurs will be challenging for those top places in the Premier League. And I'm loving this ambition, as I'm sure a lot of you, Tottenham Hotspur fans are, loving it, what's happening at the moment. And it's very interesting. It's very exciting what's happening. So I'm just laughing all of these silly comments off from the likes of Gabby. Let's wait and see what happens next. Reports in Senegal about Papa Sarr, a valuable player. I tell you what, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see 1 or 2 midfielders go out the door at Tottenham Hotspur this summer, because after signing Tonali and after signing Fernandes, I would expect 1 or 2 players certainly in that midfield area to go out of the door. Harry Redknapp, as I've mentioned, talking about Champions League spots. Let's hope that that is certainly doable, that is realistic, that Spurs can achieve that. As I've said many times on this channel and in this episode, I'm very excited about the future under Roberto De Zerbi. and Spurs Women boss Martin Ho, who I speak to on a very regular basis. Him talking about the connection with the fans. I saw that last year. I witnessed that last year. Had a really successful season. They have gone big as well, like the men's side in this transfer window, and that side, the women's side, is very, very exciting. And I'm sure that Martin and the playing group will be trying to get a Champions League spot. They've never ever qualified for the Champions League, so that would be a major step in this football club, and they're on a fantastic journey, and I wish them well for next year. And of course I'll be covering them in the press box as well next year, and something else that I'm looking forward to next season, because Spurs are on the up. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Stay safe and well, keep smiling. I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.